again. The hand tool we're going to talk about today in this video is a screwdriver. And I'm going to focus on two types. The flathead and the Phillips head. This is what I have here. I've got two flatheads, one small, one larger. And I've got one straight Phillips head. Then I got one that's a combo. This is actually 4 different sizes. Or actually, you got 2 Phillips head sizes and 2 flathead sizes here. So you take this one out, you got a small flathead there and a small Phillips there. On this side, you got a larger Phillips and a larger flathead. And they call it a 6-way screwdriver because actually these sockets right here, you could drive a nut with these certain size sockets there after you take it out. So it's actually a 6-way screwdriver. We're focusing on the flat and the Phillips today. All right, so I'm gonna drive a couple screws in. Now I'm not going to use this one because that's a star bit. I'm going to show you a couple different types of screws. Alright, this is a sheet metal screw, but you can put it in wood. And it's got a Phillips head. And obviously we're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver driving the Phillips head screw. But we're not using an impact driver. These days, a lot of people use those impact drivers to drive the screws in. I use them, but today we're going to do something else. We're going to drive it in by hand. So what I want to do is drill a pilot hole first. Now, a pilot hole is nothing more than a starter hole for the screw. And a lot of times, it's good to have it because if you don't use a pilot hole, it'll split the wood. So I'm going to drive. Put the screw in. Now it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. Clockwise tightens it. Now I've got a small Phillips and a big Phillips. You want to try and find the right size that's going to fit better in the head of the screw because it will reduce the slippage when you're driving it in. Now it turns out the bigger Phillips head is going to fit perfectly in there, and that's the one I'm going to use. Drive this sucker in. And there you go. It's driving it in. So that's clockwise in, counterclockwise out. Now what I forgot to mention to you, when you're driving a screw in and you're drilling a pilot hole, you want to make the pilot hole smaller than the screw. If you make the pilot hole bigger than the screw is just going to slip right through and it's not going to work. Let's see if I have a small screw here. I can show you what I'm talking about. Actually, let's put a bigger blade about that. So I drew a pilot hole, but I really wasn't paying attention. Then I put the screw in, and it just goes right through. It's not going to screw in if you put the pilot hole too big. Now some screws like this one right here, you could either use a flathead or a Phillips. So in this one, I'm going to use a flathead to drive it in. So I'll put another pilot hole in. Because if you try and drive a screw in and you're not using a screw gun, drive it in with the flathead. it is really difficult to get started, right? Especially if the wood's hard. It's next to impossible to do that. So that's why the pilot hole's a good thing. I started with a pilot hole. Get the screw in like that. A couple turns. Then I get my flathead screwdriver. Drive it in. Clockwise motion. Now notice this. Flatheads slip out more than Phillips heads. Now I could, since I have a Phillips head here, you could see when I'm driving it in, it doesn't slip out of the notch as much as the flathead does. That's why Phillips heads are probably more popular these days than flathead screws. And that's it.